The spatula clattered to the floor, splattering pancake batter across my freshly mopped kitchen tiles. I stared at the mess, fighting back tears of frustration. This was supposed to be easy. How hard could it be to make a simple breakfast? "Everything okay in there, hon?" Ben called from the dining room. I plastered on a smile he couldn't see. "Just peachy. Be ready in a jiffy." Grabbing paper towels, I frantically wiped up the spill. My phone pinged with a notification, another comment on my latest blog post about effortless entertaining. If they only knew. I tossed the soiled towels and retrieved a clean spatula, determined to salvage this disaster. The griddle sizzled as I poured fresh batter, praying for edible results. Ben appeared in the doorway, looking annoyingly handsome in his tweed jacket. "Ellie, we're running late. I have that faculty meeting, remember?" I know. Just give me 5 more minutes." I flipped a slightly burnt pancake onto a plate, wincing at its sad appearance. He frowned, eyeing the mess. "Maybe we should just grab something on the way? Did you forget to set an alarm again?" I bit back a retort. "No, I've been up since 6. These things just take time." 6? He raised an eyebrow. "What have you been doing all morning?" The accusation in his tone made my cheeks burn. I gestured at the immaculate living room, visible through the archway. "Cleaning, obviously. You know how I like to keep things tidy." Ben's eyes narrowed. "Ellie, be honest. Did you hire a maid?" I gaped at him, pancake forgotten. "What? No, why would you think that?" He sighed, running a hand through his salt and pepper hair. "It's just, everything's always so perfect. The house, your outfits, those elaborate blog posts. I know how much you struggled with housework when we first got married. It doesn't add up." My throat tightened. "So you think I'm lying? That I can't possibly manage our home without help?" "I didn't say that," Ben backpedaled. "I just worry you're stretching yourself too thin, trying to maintain this image." I slammed the spatula down. "It's not an image, Ben. This is who I am now. I've worked hard to improve." He held up his hands. Okay, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have accused you." But the damage was done. I turned away, blinking back tears. "Your pancakes are ready. I need to get dressed." I fled upstairs, leaving Ben calling after me. In our bedroom, I collapsed onto the bed, my carefully constructed world crumbling around me. My phone buzzed again. Another glowing comment, praising my seemingly effortless life. If they only knew the truth, how I spent hours scrubbing and re-scrubbing, how I practiced recipes late into the night, how I agonized over every word and photo on my blog. I'd worked so hard to become the perfect wife, the envy of our social circle. And now Ben thought it was all fake? Anger bubbled up, replacing the hurt. I'd show him. I'd prove I could do it all, be the ideal homemaker and a successful career woman. Squaring my shoulders, I marched to the closet and selected a crisp white blouse and pencil skirt. I touched up my makeup, erasing any trace of distress. Downstairs, Ben was finishing his pancakes. He looked up guiltily as I entered. "Ellie, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have." I cut him off with a bright smile. "Water under the bridge, darling. Now, don't you have a meeting to get to?" He blinked, thrown by my sudden change in demeanor. Right. Yes." I handed him his briefcase and kissed his cheek. "Have a wonderful day, sweetheart. I'll see you tonight." As the door closed behind him, my smile faded. I pulled out my phone, fingers flying over the keys as I composed a new blog post. 5 simple steps to a spotless home, I typed. Number 1, start with a positive attitude. I paused, a devious glint in my eye. Oh, I'd show Ben just how capable I could be, and I'd do it with a smile. I stood in the kitchen, scrubbing furiously at an already spotless counter. The events of the morning replayed in my mind, Ben's accusation echoing like a broken record. How dare he question my abilities, my dedication? The front door opened, and I tensed. Ben's footsteps approached, hesitant. "Ellie," he called, "can we talk?" I turned, forcing a smile. "Of course, darling. How was your meeting?" He frowned, clearly thrown by my cheerful demeanor. "It was fine. Look about this morning." "Water under the bridge," I chirped, turning back to my task. "No, it's not." Ben's hand on my arm stopped me. "We need to discuss this." I faced him, my smile slipping. "Discuss what exactly? How you don't trust me? How you think I'm incapable of managing our home?" He sighed. "That's not what I meant. I'm just concerned. You're always so perfect. It's not natural." My jaw clenched. "So now I'm too good at being a wife? Make up your mind, Ben." "That's not." He ran a hand through his hair. "I miss the old Ellie, The one who burned dinner and left laundry in piles, the one who didn't obsess over every little detail. I recoiled as if slapped. The old Ellie wasn't good enough for you, remember? You were always complaining about the mess, about eating takeout every night. I never meant for you to change completely. Ben's voice rose. I just wanted you to try a little harder. But this perfect housewife act, it's not you, Ellie. Act? I spat the word. You think this is an act? I've worked my ass off to become this person, to be the wife you wanted. Ben's eyes widened. I never asked for this. I want my wife back, not some Stepford robot. The room spun. I gripped the counter, knuckles white. So what do you want from me, Ben? To be a slob? To fail at everything? He reached for me, but I flinched away. I want you to be yourself. To relax. To let me help around the house instead of doing everything yourself. I laughed bitterly. Oh, that's rich. Now you want to help? After years of criticizing my efforts? I never. Save it. I held up a hand. I don't need your help. I'm managing just fine on my own. Ben's expression hardened. Are you? Really? Because I'm starting to wonder if you've hired someone to help. A maid, maybe? Or a ghostwriter for your blog? The accusation hung in the air, sharp as a knife. I stared at him, speechless. That's what I thought, Ben said quietly. Ellie, this has to stop. You're running yourself ragged trying to maintain this facade. It's not a facade, I shouted, surprising us both. This is who I am now. Why can't you accept that? Ben's shoulders slumped. Because I don't recognize you anymore. And I'm worried about what this obsession is doing to you. To us. I turned away, blinking back tears. Maybe you never knew me at all. The silence stretched between us, a chasm widening with each passing second. Finally, Ben spoke. I have an idea. Why don't you spend some time with my mother? Learn from her? She's always been great at balancing everything. I whirled around, incredulous. You want me to shadow your mother? Like some kind of trainee housewife? That's not what I meant. No, I think that's exactly what you meant. My voice was ice. You don't think I can do this on my own. You think I need Mommy to show me how to be a proper wife. Ben's face flushed. That's not fair. I'm trying to help. Well, don't. I grabbed my purse from the counter. I don't need your help, and I certainly don't need your mother's. Ellie, wait. But I was already out the door, slamming it behind me. As I stormed down the driveway, my phone buzzed. Another notification from my blog. You're such an inspiration, the comment read. How do you do it all? I laughed, the sound bordering on hysterical. If they only knew. If Ben only knew. One thing was certain. I'd show them all just how capable I could be, no matter what it took. The doorbell chimed, shattering my concentration. I glanced at the clock, frowning. Ben wasn't due home for hours, and I wasn't expecting anyone. Wiping flour-covered hands on my apron, I hurried to answer. My heart sank as I opened the door. Hannah, Ben's mother, stood on the porch, a bright smile on her face. Surprise, dear, she chirped, sweeping past me into the foyer. I thought I'd pop by for a visit. I plastered on a smile, panic rising in my chest. Hannah? What a lovely surprise. I'm afraid you've caught me in the middle of baking. She waved a dismissive hand. Oh, don't worry about me. I'll just have a look around while you finish up. Before I could protest, Hannah was off, inspecting every nook and cranny of our home. I trailed behind, frantically searching for any imperfection she might criticize. To my shock, Hannah's comments were nothing but praise. Oh, Ellie, the living room is immaculate, and look at how you've organized the bookshelves. Simply charming. I blinked, unsure how to respond. Thank you, and the kitchen! Hannah exclaimed as we entered. My goodness, it's spotless. You must work so hard to keep everything in such perfect order. A lump formed in my throat. This was the validation I'd been craving, but it felt hollow coming from Hannah. Did she truly mean it, or was this some kind of test? It's nothing, really, I mumbled, averting my eyes. Hannah's hand on my arm startled me. Ellie, dear, are you all right? You seem tense. I opened my mouth to brush off her concern, but to my horror, tears welled up instead. I'm fine. It's just been a stressful few days. Hannah's expression softened. Oh, sweetheart. Come, sit down. Tell me what's troubling you. Before I knew it, I was pouring out the whole sordid tale. The fight with Ben, his accusations, the suggestion that I shadow Hannah. To my surprise, my mother-in-law listened without judgment, her face growing increasingly concerned. When I finished, Hannah shook her head. Oh, Ellie, I'm so sorry you've been going through this alone. and I'm furious with my son for treating you this way." I gaped at her. You are?" "Of course," Hannah's eyes flashed. "The nerve of him questioning your abilities after all you've accomplished and suggesting you shadow me, as if you need lessons in homemaking. Honestly." A weight lifted from my shoulders. I was worried you'd agree with him." Hannah squeezed my hand. "Never. Ellie, you've created a beautiful home here. More importantly, you've built a successful career with your blog. Ben should be celebrating your achievements, not tearing you down." Tears threatened again, but this time from relief. "Thank you, Hannah. You have no idea how much that means to me." We sat in companionable silence for a moment before Hannah spoke again, her tone hesitant. "Ellie, dear, may I ask you something?" I nodded, suddenly wary. "Are you happy? Truly happy, I mean. Not just putting on a brave face for the world?" The question caught me off guard. I opened my mouth to give my usual cheery response, but the words stuck in my throat. Hannah's eyes were kind but knowing. "It's okay if you're not, you know. No one can be perfect all the time, not even the fabulous lifestyle blogger Ellie Matthews." Something inside me cracked. The facade I'd worked so hard to maintain began to crumble. "I'm exhausted," I whispered, the admission feeling like both a betrayal and a relief. "I'm constantly terrified of slipping up, of not being good enough. For Ben, for my followers, for myself." Hannah nodded, understanding in her eyes. "Oh, my dear, you don't have to carry this burden alone. Have you talked to Ben about how you're feeling?" I shook my head, shame coloring my cheeks. "I can't. He already thinks I'm faking it all. If he knew how much I'm struggling, then he'd have the chance to support you," Hannah finished gently. "Ellie, marriage is a partnership. You don't have to be perfect all the time." As her words sank in, the front door opened. Ben's voice called out, "Ellie, are you home? I saw Mom's car outside." Hannah and I exchanged a look. The moment of truth had arrived. I smoothed my dress for the 100th time, forcing a smile as Ben and I walked into the faculty dinner. After our recent fights, I was determined to prove I could be the perfect wife he seemed to want. The room buzzed with conversation, academics in tweed jackets mingling over glasses of wine. "There's Jack," Ben said, steering me towards a portly man with a salt and pepper beard. "I want you to meet his wife, Sarah. She's amazing, runs their household like clockwork while volunteering at the hospital." My stomach clenched. Another impossible standard to measure up to. Jack beamed as we approached. "Ben, and this must be the famous Ellie. We've heard so much about you." I shook his hand, my blogger persona slipping into all good things, I hope. A harried-looking woman appeared at Jack's side, dark circles prominent under her eyes. "Sorry I'm late," she muttered. "The sitter canceled last minute." "Ellie, this is my wife, Sarah," Jack said proudly. "Superwoman herself." Sarah's tired eyes met mine, and I saw a flicker of recognition. Not of me, but of the exhaustion we both felt. As the men fell into shop talk, Sarah leaned closer. "So you're the lifestyle guru. How do you do it? I can barely keep my head above water most days." I opened my mouth to give my usual perky response, but something in her desperate expression stopped me. "Honestly, it's not easy. Some days I feel like I'm drowning too." Sarah's eyes widened. "Really? But your blog, everything looks so perfect." I glanced at Ben, engrossed in conversation. "It's mostly smoke and mirrors," I admitted quietly. "I'm constantly stressed, trying to maintain this image." "God, I thought it was just me," Sarah breathed. "Jack's always going on about how I should be more like you, effortlessly juggling everything." Anger flared in my chest. "There's nothing effortless about it, and it's not fair for them to expect that from us." Sarah nodded vigorously. "I know, but try telling them that. Jack thinks I'm just being lazy when I can't keep up." "Ladies," Ben's voice interrupted our conspiratorial whispers. "What are you two gossiping about?" I plastered on a smile. "Oh, just swapping recipes. Sarah was telling me about her famous pot roast." Ben chuckled. "Better not give away all your secrets, Sarah. Ellie might actually learn to cook." The casual jab stung more than it should have. I saw Sarah flinch in sympathy. "Actually," I said, my voice steely, "I was telling Sarah about my blog. She's interested in starting one of her own." Ben's eyebrows shot up. "Really? Well, that's ambitious. Are you sure you have time for that, Sarah, with the kids and everything?" I watched the light dim in Sarah's eyes. "Oh, I don't know. It was just an idea." "Nonsense," I said firmly. "You absolutely could do it. I'd be happy to help you get started. Ben frowned. Ellie, don't go putting ideas in her head. Sarah's got enough on her plate already. Something snapped inside me. And what exactly is that supposed to mean, Ben? That women like us can't have aspirations beyond keeping house? The conversation around us quieted. Ben's face flushed. That's not what I meant. I just think. I know exactly what you think, I hissed. That we should be satisfied with being perfect little housewives, right? Never mind our own dreams or ambitions. Ellie, please, Ben muttered, glancing around nervously. You're making a scene. I laughed bitterly. Heaven forbid I embarrass you in front of your colleagues. Well, don't worry, I won't stay to tarnish your reputation. Grabbing my purse, I turned to Sarah. Call me if you want to talk about that blog, or anything else. As I stormed out, I heard Ben making excuses behind me. Sorry, she's not feeling well. You know how women can be. Tears blurred my vision as I fumbled for my car keys. I'd tried so hard to be what Ben wanted, and for what? To be belittled and dismissed? Sitting in the parking lot, engine idling, I made a decision. No more perfect housewife act. No more bending over backwards to meet impossible standards. It was time to show Ben, to show everyone, exactly what Ellie Matthews was capable of, and God help anyone who tried to stand in my way. I stormed into Ben's office, a whirlwind of righteous anger. After the faculty dinner fiasco, I was done playing the perfect wife. It was time for a confrontation. The hallway was eerily quiet, most professors gone for the day. I reached for the doorknob, then froze. Muffled voices drifted through the wood. Ben wasn't alone. We can't keep doing this, Amy. Ben's voice, low and intimate. My heart stopped. Amy? His young research assistant? I know, a female voice replied, trembling, but I can't help how I feel about you. The world tilted on its axis. I stumbled back, my hand flying to my mouth to stifle a gasp. It's complicated, Ben sighed. Ellie? Hearing my name on his lips, spoken with such resignation, shattered something inside me. Before I could think, I shoved the door open. The scene before me burned into my retinas. Ben, shirt half unbuttoned, arms around a petite blonde. They sprang apart, guilt etched on their faces. Ellie, Ben's voice cracked. This isn't, I can explain. I held up a hand, silencing him, my gaze locked on Amy, who looked ready to bolt. How long? She flinched, unable to meet my eyes. 3 months, she whispered, 3 months. While I'd been killing myself to be the perfect wife, he'd been... A hysterical laugh bubbled up. Ellie, please, Ben pleaded. It was a mistake. It didn't mean anything. Didn't mean anything, I echoed, my voice dangerously calm. You've been sleeping with your student for 3 months, and it didn't mean anything. Amy's eyes widened. Student? But you told me you were separated. I turned to her, a spark of pity breaking through my rage. Oh, honey, he lied to you too. Ben's face drained of color. Amy, I can explain. Save it, she spat, grabbing her bag. I'm done being your dirty little secret. As Amy fled, I faced my husband, the man I'd loved since high school, the man I'd bent over backwards trying to please. Well, I said, crossing my arms, I'm waiting for that explanation. Ben ran a hand through his hair, desperation in his eyes. It was a moment of weakness. I've been under so much stress lately, and Amy was there, and... God, Ellie, I'm so sorry. Stress? I laughed bitterly. You want to talk about stress? Try maintaining a perfect home, a successful blog, and a marriage to a man who constantly belittles your efforts. That's stress? Ben. He reached for me, but I stepped back. I know I've been hard on you lately. I missed the old Ellie, the one who wasn't so obsessed with perfection. White-hot anger surged through me. The old Ellie wasn't good enough for you, remember? You wanted a perfect wife, so that's what I became. And it still wasn't enough. That's not true, Ben protested weakly. Isn't it? You criticized my housekeeping, my cooking, even my blog. Nothing I did was ever good enough, so you went looking for someone better. Tears streamed down my face, but I didn't bother wiping them away. Let him see the mess he'd made of me. Ellie, please, Ben begged. We can work through this. I'll do anything. Counseling, whatever you want. I stared at him, this stranger wearing my husband's face. All the love, all the history between us, tainted by his betrayal. In that moment, I made a decision. No more bending over backwards, no more sacrificing my happiness for his. You're right, Ben, I said quietly. We can't keep doing this. Hope flickered in his eyes. So you'll give me another chance? I shook my head, a weight lifting from my shoulders. No, I'm giving myself another chance, without you. As I walked out of his office, out of our marriage, I felt something I hadn't in years. Freedom. The path ahead was uncertain, terrifying even, but for the first time in a long time it was mine to choose. Let Ben deal with the fallout of his actions. I had a life to reclaim. My hands shook as I fumbled with the key to our Ben's house. The confrontation in his office replayed in my mind, fueling a fire of rage and determination. I had one goal now: gather my things and leave before he could sweet-talk his way out of this mess. As I burst through the door, a familiar voice stopped me cold. "Ellie, what's going on?" Amy stood in our living room, looking lost and tearful. I froze, my mind reeling. "What are you doing here?" She wrung her hands. I came to apologize, to explain. I had no idea you and Ben were still together. He told me you were separated, that you were just keeping up appearances for his career." A bitter laugh escaped me. "Of course he did. And you believed him?" Amy's face crumpled. "I'm so sorry, Ellie. I never meant to hurt anyone. I thought we were in love." The last word hit me like a physical blow. Love. Had Ben ever truly loved me, or had I just been a convenient prop in his perfect professor life? Before I could respond, the front door flew open. Ben rushed in, his eyes wild. "Ellie, please, we need to talk." He stopped short, seeing Amy. "What are you doing here?" "Apparently cleaning up your mess," I snapped. "Did you really think you could keep juggling us both?" Ben's face paled. "It's not like that. I never meant for any of this to happen." "But it did happen, Ben," I shouted, years of pent-up frustration bursting free. "You lied to both of us. You made me feel inadequate, pushed me to be this perfect wife, all while carrying on with your student." Amy flinched at the word student. "Is that true? Am I going to lose my scholarship over this?" Ben turned to her, panic in his eyes. No, of course not. We can keep this quiet. No one has to know." "Are you kidding me?" I interrupted. "You're still trying to cover this up? What about taking responsibility for once in your life?" "You don't understand," Ben pleaded. "If this gets out, I could lose my job, my reputation." "Your reputation?" Amy's voice rose, hysteria edging in. "What about my future? My career? God, I'm such an idiot." As they argued, a calm settled over me. I'd spent so long trying to be what Ben wanted, I'd lost sight of myself. But now, watching him scramble to salvage his carefully constructed image, I saw him clearly for the first time. "Enough," I said quietly. They both turned to me, startled by my tone. "This ends now." Ben stepped towards me, desperation in his eyes. "Ellie, please, we can work this out. I'll do anything. Just don't..." "Don't what, Ben? Don't tell the truth. Don't shatter your precious reputation." I shook my head. "I'm done protecting you. I'm done being your perfect little wife." I turned to Amy, who looked ready to bolt. "You should go to the dean, report what happened, protect yourself and your future." "Ellie, no," Ben shouted. "You can't do this to me." Something snapped inside me. "I can't do this to you. What about what you've done to us? To our marriage, to Amy's trust?" I grabbed my phone, fingers flying over the keys. "You want to talk about reputations? Let's see what your colleagues think when they read my next blog post. Living my truth, how I discovered my husband's affair and found myself." Ben lunged for the phone, but I danced away. "Don't you dare," he growled. "Or what?" I challenged. "You'll belittle me some more? Make me feel small and inadequate?" "Those days are over, Ben." As I hit publish, a weight lifted from my shoulders. Ben's face contorted with rage and fear, but I felt only relief. "It's done," I said quietly. "The truth is out there now. Deal with the consequences." I turned to leave, but Ben grabbed my arm. "You've ruined everything," he hissed. As I stared into the eyes of the man I once loved, now a stranger, I realized this was far from over. The real battle was just beginning. I stood on Hannah and George's doorstep, my heart pounding. The weight of what I was about to do threatened to crush me, but I steeled myself. There was no going back now. Hannah opened the door, her smile fading as she took in my tear-stained face. "Ellie? What's wrong, dear?" I couldn't hold it in any longer. The whole sordid tale came pouring out, Ben's affair, the confrontation, my blog post exposing it all. By the time I finished, we were sitting in their living room, Hannah's arm around me while George paced, his face thunderous. "I'll kill him," George muttered. "My own son? How could he do this?" Hannah squeezed my hand. "What do you need from us, Ellie?" I took a deep breath. "I want a divorce. And I need your support. Ben's going to fight this, I know it." The words hung in the air, heavy with finality. Hannah and George exchanged a look, years of unspoken communication passing between them. "Of course we support you," Hannah said firmly. "What Ben did is unforgivable." Relief washed over me, followed quickly by guilt. "I'm so sorry. I never wanted to come between you and your son." George stopped pacing, his expression softening. "You didn't, Ellie. Ben did that all on his own." Just then, my phone buzzed. A notification from my blog, comments pouring in on my latest post. I hesitated, then opened it. "Oh my God," I whispered. "What is it?" Hannah leaned in, concerned. I showed her the screen, my hands shaking. "My post. It's gone viral. Thousands of shares, hundreds of comments, women sharing their own stories of infidelity and empowerment." As I scrolled, another notification popped up. An email from a major publishing house expressing interest in turning my story into a book. "I don't understand," I said, overwhelmed. "How did this happen so fast?" George chuckled. "You underestimate your influence, Ellie. Your blog has quite the following." The realization hit me like a tidal wave. All those years of curating the perfect image, and it was my moment of raw honesty that resonated the most. Before I could process it, my phone rang. Ben's name flashed on the screen. "Don't answer it," Hannah advised, but I shook my head. "I have to face him sometime." I took a deep breath and answered. "Hello. How dare you?" Ben's voice was low, dangerous. "Do you have any idea what you've done? The dean's called an emergency meeting. My career is on the line." Anger flared in my chest. "Your career? What about my life, Ben? The years I wasted trying to be perfect for you." "Perfect?" he scoffed. "You were suffocating me with your obsession, and now you've ruined everything. I hope you're happy." The line went dead. I stared at the phone, numb. "Ellie?" Hannah's voice seemed far away. "What did he say?" I looked up, meeting their concerned gazes. "He blames me for everything." George's face darkened. That boy never could take responsibility for his actions. "But he's right," I whispered. "I did ruin everything. Our marriage, his career." Hannah took my hands firmly. "No, Ben ruined those things when he chose to betray you. You simply told the truth." As her words sank in, another email notification pinged. This time, from our joint bank account. My blood ran cold as I read the message. "He's emptied our accounts, transferred everything to a private account in his name." The room spun. Years of savings gone in an instant. My entire life dismantled in a matter of hours. "That's it," George said, reaching for his phone. "I'm calling our lawyer." I stared at the email, Ben's final act of betrayal burning into my retinas. In that moment, I realized the true battle was just beginning. Ben wouldn't go down without a fight, and neither would I. "No," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. "I'll call my own lawyer. It's time I stood on my own 2 feet." As I dialed the number, a strange calm settled over me. The life I'd known was over, but a new one was just beginning. And this time, I'd be the one in control. I stood in the courtroom, my heart pounding as the judge prepared to deliver her verdict. Months of bitter legal battles had led to this moment. Ben sat across the aisle, his once handsome face haggard and resentful. "In the matter of Matthews versus Matthews," the judge began, her voice echoing in the tense silence, "this court finds in favor of the plaintiff, Ellie Matthews." A collective gasp rippled through the room. I closed my eyes, relief washing over me like a tidal wave. "Furthermore," the judge continued, "given the evidence of financial misconduct, Mr. Matthews is ordered to repay all funds illegally transferred from joint accounts, plus interest." I opened my eyes to see Ben's face contort with rage. He leapt to his feet, shouting, "This is outrageous! She ruined my career, and now you're taking everything?" "Mr. Matthews, control yourself or I'll hold you in contempt," the judge warned. As Ben sank back into his seat, defeated, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. It was over. I was free. Outside the courthouse, Hannah and George enveloped me in a warm embrace. "We're so proud of you, Ellie," Hannah whispered, tears in her eyes. "Thank you," I said, my voice thick with emotion. "I couldn't have done this without your support." As we turned to leave, a familiar voice called out. "Ellie, wait!" Ben approached, his expression a mix of anger and desperation. "Can we talk? Please?" I hesitated, then nodded to Hannah and George. "I'll be fine," I assured them. Once alone, Ben's facade crumbled. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice breaking. "I know I messed up, but isn't there any way we can fix this? Start over?" For a moment, I saw a glimmer of the man I'd fallen in love with all those years ago. But then I remembered the lies, the betrayal, the years of feeling inadequate. No, Ben, I said softly. We can't go back. Too much has changed. Because of your blog? He scoffed. Your newfound fame? I shook my head. Because I've changed. I'm not the woman who bent over backwards trying to please you anymore. I like who I've become. Ben's face hardened. So that's it? You're just going to throw away 15 years of marriage? You threw it away, I corrected him gently. I'm just picking up the pieces and building something new. As I turned to walk away, Ben called out, You'll regret this, Ellie. You need me. I paused, looking back at him one last time. No, Ben, I don't. And that's the most liberating thing I've ever realized. Weeks later, I sat in my new apartment, surrounded by boxes yet to be unpacked. My laptop glowed with the final draft of my book, part memoir, part self-help guide for women reclaiming their lives. A notification pinged, another message from my blog's community. Women sharing their own stories of empowerment, thanking me for giving them courage. Tears pricked my eyes as I read their words. All those years of curating a perfect image, and it was my raw, honest truth that resonated the most. My phone buzzed. A text from Sarah, Jack's wife. Coffee tomorrow? I have big news. I smiled, remembering our conversation at the faculty dinner. She'd started her own blog, inspired by my journey. Now she was talking about going back to school, pursuing her long-forgotten dreams. As I typed a reply, I caught sight of my reflection in the window. Gone was the perfectly coiffed, perpetually stressed woman I'd been for so long. In her place was someone softer, stronger, someone real. The doorbell rang, startling me from my reverie. I opened it to find Hannah, arms laden with groceries. I thought you might need some help settling in, she said with a warm smile. You didn't have to do that, I protested, but she waved me off. Nonsense. You're family, Ellie. That hasn't changed. As we unpacked the groceries, chatting and laughing, I felt a profound sense of peace settle over me. My life hadn't turned out the way I'd planned, but maybe that was okay. I'd lost a husband, but gained a true family. Lost a facade, but found my authentic self. And in sharing my story, I'd connected with countless women on similar journeys. For the first time in years, I wasn't worried about being perfect. I was simply happy being me. As Hannah and I clinked coffee mugs in a toast to new beginnings, I knew with absolute certainty the best was yet to come.